Good day, my friends, and welcome to today's Memorial Day celebration, the morning version of this thing of ours, where we discuss Memorial Day, remembering and honoring the sacrifice and how we should make war obsolete. It's yet again another celebration where people will miss the point completely, will wrap themselves in ceremony, wrap themselves in syrupy, saccharine references to whatever they think it means, and at the same time, slam students who exercise their First Amendment right in expressing their feelings about the war and death going on in another country. That's off limits. Screw you, that's off limits. We'll tell you which war to acknowledge and to honor, not this one. Who do you think you are? That's what the message is. First Amendment, don't give me this First Amendment stuff. Just shut up and salute. Don't ask why there were wars. Don't ask even the history of Memorial Day. Don't even talk about history. Just understand this is a feeling. You know, I was thinking about this when we were kids. The first real celebration that we have, that we kind of understand, which makes a lot of sense, is a birthday. It makes complete sense. Happy birthday to me. Cake, light, candles, presents, got it. Christmas, okay, shared kind of a thing. Birthday, though, is me. I get it. It's the first the first very important celebration, first introduction into the myth and the marvel of celebrating. Okay? Now, somebody along the way said the best way to get people really confused is to somehow conflate patriotism into everything else. Conflate patriotism. Conflate it. Give them this strange idea of what it is. Just make sure it's what I define it to be. It's my idea of what's right or wrong. It's my wars that I celebrate, not yours. I will tell you. Fox News will tell you. You will never. But here's one absolute truth. To the people that we call the left, to the people that we call the left, the progressives, the woke, whatever they want, the Democrats, they never talk about military with reverence, the flag. You can always tell where you are by if it's Trump country, if you see a flag. They have no connection. Did you hear the story about this park ranger somewhere who wanted, apparently there was some type of, there was some construction being, was being created or occurring. And some of the trucks had, interesting enough, some of these trucks had either American flag decals or flags or something, which they normally have on the construction equipment themselves, and she wanted them removed because it might trigger people. This is the mentality of these people. So I will start off by telling you there is this, because today we're going to talk about the truth, the realistic, absolute truth about Memorial Day, patriotism, the flag, war, the insanity of what amounts to nothing but the needless destruction of people. Always coordinated, always arranged by just one person who gets the ball rolling, or at least a committee of such. Let me remind you, good friends and good people, very, very simple. Listen very carefully. It is 162 days until the election. 162 days. And there's no way that Joe Biden can possibly do this. The question is, who is it going to be? Now, in the meantime, on this great day of celebration, it's time to pay our homage to a great American with a great product and a great sponsor of ours, mypillow.com, promo code Lionel, and the lovely and talented Mr. Lindell. It's time yet again, my friends, to hail and salute our great friends at mypillow.com. And if you use promo code Lionel, you'll get a free gift. No purchase necessary. And yes, I know, a free gift. It's a tautology, so sue me. But first, listen carefully. Check out their $25 extravaganzas, premium My Pillows, Queen and King, My Pillow 2.0, My Pillow bed sheets, the lowest price ever, sandals, slides, slippers, 6-piece towel sets, 4-pack dish towel sets, simply and absolutely unbelievable. So go to mypillow.com/Lionel, mypillow.com, promo code Lionel, or call 800-645-4965 and watch how fast Mike Lindell answers the phone. mypillow.com, simply and absolutely the best. This is not meant at all today to be disrespectful. On the contrary, this is something a little bit different. This is a little bit different. This is nothing but respect. Nothing but respect. I promise you. This is something that I have noticed this my entire life. I have railed against this. I remember I cannot tell you. I remember as a kid, funerals. It drove me crazy to go to a funeral and see people outside mingling and laughing. And I remember one time my mother she said, "You don't understand. A lot of these people haven't seen each other in a long time." And I thought, what does that mean? Even then, I said, I don't understand this. Then don't call this a funeral. Then just call this something else. Well, we can't. It's a tradition. No, it's not a tradition. It's what humans do. They will always take things and destroy it. And the first rule is, whatever it is that you are celebrating, I promise you Americans don't know the first thing about it. They don't know anything. They don't know the history of it, what it means, why we're doing it. All they know is they get a day off. Memorial Day. And what is it? Barbecuing. It looks like I am the only person in the world that says, and I hope people don't think that because they say, well, this is good for the economy. I hope it rains all day. I hope people are forced to sit inside and just do what the purpose of this was, not to take a day off. We just that's all we think about. We love to say, thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's this. Time to retire. We don't have to work. I understand this. I guess now I'm at that age where everybody that I know, it's not that they're going to retire and enjoy their lives. I see it all the time. They just slow down. People just love to slow down. Let me give you a couple of things here about this species. One of my favorite thought experiments, and if you know me long enough, you will hear me say this. I imagine what it was like. I always think, what if I met Jesus? What if I met God? What if I met this? What if I had to explain to some space traveler what we Americans are all about? What would I say? Well, I said, well, first of all, you got to understand something. We love symbols and semiotics, symbology. The flag behind us is what some people have as a cover. I hated people who flew the flag. I couldn't understand it. This was years ago. I told Mrs. L, I'm driving through towns and I see to myself, what is all these flags? What are they? Is this a national headquarters of something? What is this? What does this flag mean? Then they don't even read the Flag Act. And they have it at night with no light on it. It's tattered. It's like, look at these people. What is the point of this symbology? Is this an omen? Is this some talisman? Is this some bane, wolf bane to keep the werewolves off? I mean, I don't understand what these people do and how they think. My old friend Bill Pierce said, never forget, no more wars. Thank a Gold Star parent for their sacrifice. I'm thankful my son came back after 12 years of service And some parents never got that chance. Here, here, brother. Kayfabe to you in the best of senses. Absolutely. Listen to this, Billy. Check this one out here. Estimates for the total number of people killed in wars throughout history range from 150 million to $1 billion. In the 20th century alone, at least 108 million people died in wars. And a monograph from the Center for International and Security Studies at Maryland estimates that the total number of deaths was closer to 231 million. The deadliest conflict in American history, with a death toll comparable to all of the major wars combined, the American Civil War. Could be 700,000, who knows? World wars, combined death toll of more than 520,000 American fatalities. War on Terror estimated total number of deaths, 4.5 to 4.7 million. Wars in Ukraine and Ethiopia were the primary contributors. This is to over 237,000 battle-related deaths. And it goes on, it goes on, it goes on. And you can look at this. And this is the most fascinating. How we decided in this country all of a sudden to pay homage to this. And Memorial Day was originally known as Decoration Day. It's a federal holiday in the U.S. dedicated to honoring and mourning military personnel who died in the performance of their duties. Observed on the last Monday of May, it marks the unofficial start of summer. Hey! The holiday's origins date back to the aftermath of the Civil War, a conflict, of course, with the highest loss of American life, sparking a need to commemorate fallen soldiers, all soldiers. Various towns then began holding tributes, decorating graves with flowers. One notable early commemoration was in 1865 in Charleston, South Carolina, organized by formerly enslaved people to honor Union soldiers. In 1868, General John A. Logan led a group of Northern Civil War veterans calling for a National Day of Remembrance. And by the way, remember the other part too. This is something that nobody understands. Nobody will ever understand or grasp the notion of what about the Confederate soldiers? What about the Confederate soldiers? Do they deserve any honor at all? Did they do anything? Did they fight for their country? Did they fight? No, they didn't. Well, what did they fight for? I don't know, but we don't care, and they don't. Really? What do you think they fought for? What did they fight for? What did a Confederate soldier fight for? What? For slavery? The Civil War may have been for slavery, and they're still arguing now because they're still doing it now. What was it about? You could talk about World War II. You could talk about World War I. You could talk about anything. And I always say it goes back to trying to explain the source of cancer. Why is there cancer? Every time you hear somebody who commits suicide, ask them, why is there suicide? Every time somebody's murdered, why is there murder? Why is there crime? We love one reason. We love this. We are simple. We hate nuance. We hate it. We hate nuance. There is a barbarism that humans have. Humans, first of all, have a couple of rules. Number one, war means nothing to you, to the rich. To the rich. These are oligarchies. These are timocracies. These are, you can get into these oligopsonies, all these various. We are run by a very small group of people. And this very small group of people, one or two people, will get other people to die for them for reasons that they've convinced everybody into thinking, this is for you. This is for you. Okay? Now, probably the origin, which is still being debated to an extent, but the actual reason for this, irrespective, was World War II. This is the one where had you not let that, had we not stopped that, would we suffer? Would we be able to identify a difference in the way that we live today? The answer is yes. It would be absolutely true. Let me give you an example by analogy, terrible analogy. I have this machine, my thought experiment, and I go back in history, and I say to you, okay, we're going to pull out the, we're going to, excuse me, we're going to remove the Beatles from history. The Beatles. We're going to remove the Beatles. Okay? We're going to go back in history, go back in time, pull them out. They never existed. The Four Lads never existed. Okay? And then we're going to move the history back, rerun the tape, and listen to our music now. Will we notice a difference? That's how you tell. I think in some cases you would. Or would you not? Did music get to this point irrespective of a movement, a person, or is this a natural evolution? If we went back and got rid of Mozart, got rid of Beethoven, got rid of the whatever, and then you ran the tape back, would the music sound different? Maybe the Beatles, because the Beatles inspired other people to experiment with it. Okay, fine. If we went back and we said, let Hitler take Europe, the Sudetenland, blah, 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 just whatever, and the Japanese can do whatever they want in the Pacific, we're out of this. Would we notice a difference today, a significant difference? That would be absolutely horrible. And I believe yes. Now, whereas Hitler is not a psychopath, Hitler, like other people, Mao, and don't kid yourself, many of our leaders as well, but not to this extent, believed in totalitarian regime, irrespective of the destruction of individual liberty. Okay, you got it? That simple. That simple. That might be the only one where, you know what? And we did 4 years. We only put 4 years into it. Next rule. History would be a wonderful thing if only it were true. We always love to hear history viewed through our prism, our lens, our reality. We're always the good guys. We're the great guys. We're the, I'm not. Remember, people and government, the American people, the American government, American people I love, the America to live here. I love it. The government is a different story. When somebody says, and this country gave me, no, that's not the government. We gave you that. Don't kid yourself. The government is Tiffany Henyard. The government is AOC. The government is that idiot Bobby Kennedy and that drug addict girlfriend. I mean, just that's government. We're a different story. History would be a wonderful thing if only it were true. And what we do is we go in and we always said, from the beginning of time, it was very, very tribal. It was part of us, part of our DNA. We love and we laud this militaristic, these stories of Spartans and Romans, and we love spectacles, and we love this, unless you have to do it. We love sending your kid to someplace else to fight, your kid, but we love the, look at that. We love this. We love to have planes and instruments of death before football games because there's a connection that's between bread and circuses. This is the greatest propaganda conflation ever. We love to pay lip service. Thank you for your service. Pfft, I don't give a damn about you and your service. We kind of expect people to, walk around. Yeah, that's great. And we pat them on the head and we say, well, what is it that we need them for? What do we need them for now? Well, it's good to have a military, because if you don't, somebody will come along and test us. I don't think anybody's ever going to invade us. We'll get to 9/11 eventually. But we don't care about the deaths. It means nothing. And certain deaths we love. And if you dare say anything about the deaths, like what's going on right now, people who are protesting against the slaughter of Palestinians. What? Don't say that. Excuse me. You don't learn, do you? We just don't learn. And I love this. They have these students, these protesters. Oh, look at these crazy anti-Semitic, I'm sure there are some. And I'm sure there were some Vietnam protesters who were commies and there were some people who were who were racist and wanted to continue the war because they thought that the yellow man was somehow less than. I'm sure there's all kinds of people in there, all kinds of people. Do you know that during Prohibition, the temperance folks actually merged with the Klan to try to stop, to encourage Prohibition, because the Klan thought that alcohol made black folks and black men crazy and rapacious. Kind of an offshoot of that the reefer madness thing, where the black man was so hyper sexed that anything that could push him over the edge. Okay, fine. But that's kind of what they really believed this. And they merged, talking about politics making strange bedfellows. They met with the temperance, not Amy Simple, Carrie Nation and those types. I mean, this was beautiful, that kind of mentality. So you have weird people who will look to things in different ways. Civil War, different story. Civil War was a different story. People said, you will never hear anybody ever explain, ever understand, ever look at something without this overarching set of morality. Do you believe that people who supported slavery were evil? Good luck with this. Millions and millions of people throughout history raised in slavery, told this is what they do. Those are the slaves. Okay. Do you think it was, in some cases, certainly. Next rule. I don't know where I left off. Remove this good guy, bad guy, evil from this. Once you do this, once you do it, you're able to say, okay, I understand it. When you observe or you look at Vietnam, World War II, Hitler, whoever it is, look at it without this overarching sentimental sense of morality. Americans won't do this. Let me give you an example. This is the part that grieves me. This makes me sick. This is somebody who uses the camp of it. This is somebody who comes along and says, well, let me tell you something. This may not be the perfect country, but by God, it's the best country in the world. Yeah. Is it the best country? Do you think we're the best country in the world? Not us people, but the government, whatever. Do you really think so? How do you know? I don't know. I've never lived in Portugal. I have no idea. I don't want to move there. I live here. This is my home. But don't give me this stuff. Listen to this one. This guy gets on my nerves like you cannot believe. This guy just loves the corn pone. He's just, Buford T. Pusser, Foghorn Leghorn. He's a Disney character.
I believe that Arlington National Cemetery contains 400,000 reasons why you should stand your ass up for the national anthem.
Really? Not woke. This is CPAC. These are the morons of CPAC. These are the morons of CPAC. These are people who don't understand the complexity of any of this stuff. I would love, you know what I saw the other day? You ready for this? I saw this. Maybe you didn't. Excuse me if this is old. I have no idea. Do you know that they now have a thing where you can go to a cemetery? Because I hate cemeteries. I hate them. I think these are the most horrible places around because they are ghoulish, funereal, literally, celebrations of death. Okay? But there's a QR code. And you put them on the headstone. And anybody who walks by can get their phone, look at the QR code, and there it is. It's a life. It's whatever you want. It's a little story about that. And I thought, you know what? That's good. And it's this person laughing or this person, whatever you want to do. Not the stone. I love the fact that we bury. We are an astral religion. We always look at God as if God is in the sky. Dear God. We always look up to the sky. Dear God, dear God. That's where we think God is. Dear God. Fertility religions bury because they think God is in the ground. They think God is in the ground. But anyway, we love to they should be. There should be a sticker that says, in this part of the cemetery is people who had to die and others didn't have to die. Vietnam, the entire wall doesn't have to die. Unnecessary. And when I tell that to people, never tell that to a Vietnam veteran because, we could have beaten the war. It's like people who think they're going to beat Hamas. They think that, you anti-Semite? It's nothing to do with anti-Semitism. It's not about Jewish. It's about you want to beat Hamas. You want to beat terrorism. You want to beat Al Qaeda. What are you talking about? There's no. We're so stupid. We never learn. We did the same thing in Vietnam. I listened to this. I cannot tell you. There are these wonderful things on YouTube. God bless YouTube for all of YouTube's. You've got Rumble and you got BitChute. Rumble's good too. There's always that, the second one. And BitChute is like way out there. And I love them all and we need them. But when it comes to more scholarly, YouTube has got it made. And they have these people, these wonderful veterans who speak and who discuss stories when they were there. What Vietnam was like, and I love to hear them. I love to hear their message. I love to hear. Tell me what that's like. To fly into Da Nang, to be there, where you're going, and how these brave men would come back, and women too. Women, remember, there were the nurses. They forget these women who were there. There was a story of a woman who, she said it was so silly. At night, they put curlers in their hair. And whenever there was a rocket attack, they would get under their bed, put a helmet on. They couldn't put their helmet on because of the curlers. And one woman was just so tired. She went there. They get no recognition. She's there in the back. She's there. Bob Hope doesn't get enough credit. And these people went there and they said, what are we doing? And we never learn. We never learn. Here's my political viewpoint to try to describe it. I lift myself above it like I'm from another planet and I look at it. I have no affiliation, none. And I look at something. And the thing that is going on right now, when I hear people arguing everything but the slaughter of innocent Palestinian men and women, I don't care about, don't give me this. No. This has got to stop. I remember one time I was on TV coverage. I couldn't believe what was happening. Was it 2005? In the Democratic Republic in the Congo, women who were savagely ravaged. I don't want to use the R word because of algorithms and the like, but they were sexually brutalized with bayonets and sticks and stakes. And they were just 250,000. The numbers were incredible. And they had these horrible disfigurements, bladder punctures, genitourinary destruction, fistulas. These poor women were leaking they had colon perforations and they couldn't, you name it. They couldn't, they were incontinent. They would soil themselves. They were reviled and pushed out of their villages and they're trying, get out of here, you smell. And it was horrible. And nobody said anything. Nobody cared about nothing because we are savage people. It's not the IDF. It's not Bibi. It's not Hamas. It's not Ho Chi Minh. It's not slavery. It's us. It's who we are and how we can sit back and just say, acceptable, not acceptable. That's what we do. Moral relativism at its height. And we love to pretend that we're glorious. We love to pretend that we're a Christian nation. Christian. We live by the edicts of the Bible. The Bible. When I hear people, they say, and by God, it's my God, and my God, and Harrison Butker, and the God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit and the Catholic and the God and the Jesus. That's wonderful. He's a multimillionaire guy giving a speech at a Catholic university about women. Yay! Oh, isn't that triumphant? Isn't he beautiful? What about the actual precepts? What? Wait till this guy, maybe not him because he's a kicker, but wait to see all these people with CTE coming up. It's barbaric. The whole thing is barbaric. Anyway, but it doesn't matter. It's a yay! And we think, aren't we great? And we feel good because he makes us feel good. He makes us feel great. We love to say who's great and who's not. Stand by for 1 second, my friends. We're you know what we also are good too is we love to look the other way. I mentioned this a while back, and I said, do you know, do you not, that there are very, very serious problems that we're going to have regarding food security, food insecurity. You know that, right? You know that. And people say, oh, God, is he talking about that again? Is he talking about that food? Yeah. I'm very see. Do you have a smoke detector? Yeah. Well, do you have insurance for your car? Yeah. Do you have a lock? Yeah. Do you have a burglar alarm? Yeah. But this is no, because you know why? Because people don't want to think about it. Because for you to sit there and say, okay, I'm going to buy food because I think there's a possibility of food insecurity. I love it, food insecurity, of starvation. That means that things aren't as secure as we thought. That's precisely why people think like that. But you're different. That's why you're going to go to preparewithlionel.com. It's no longer a question of if something catastrophic is coming, it's when. And while you still have some control, what are you going to do about it now to prepare? Well, your first step is going to my website, preparewithlionel.com. And for a limited time, take $200 off a 3-month emergency food supply. My Patriot Supply is equipped to help you and your family to prepare. They've helped over 2 million families already. These 3-month kits with ready hour foods provide over 2,000 calories every day with 22 varieties and a 25-year shelf life. Breakfast, lunches, dinners, drinks, snacks, everything. And they're sealed inside 6 rugged waterproof buckets, and they're over 120 pounds of food. So take advantage right now and go to preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com. One more time, preparewithlionel.com. Spend some time today and check out some of these wars that we've had in the past. Some really fascinating wars. And consider the fact that there were so few of us at the time. And what those numbers mean. Ann Datsun, thank you. What new member? Thank you so very much. Ann Datsun. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I hope I've not butchered your name. I thank you for that. Listen to this right now. From 549 BC to 530 BC. So about for 20 years. This is the conquest of Cyrus the Great. Death range, 100,000. The Greco-Persian Wars, 499 BC to, well, that was just my God, it's just 499 to 449. No, 499 to 449. It's 50 years, 300,000, 50 years. Chinese warring states, 1.5 million. Samnite wars, 33,500. Wars of Alexander the Great, 142,000. Punic Wars, 1.6 to 1.9 million. First Punic War, King's War of Unification, 700,000. Second Punic War, 770,000. Third Punic War, Cimbrian War. Roman Civil Wars, 3 million. Gallic Wars, 1 million. Iceni Revolution, 150. Jewish Roman Wars, 1.2 to 2 million. Just this is we're at the year 132. The Three Kingdoms War, the Yellow Turban Revolution, 3 to 7 million. This is peasants versus the Eastern Hans in China. Northern Chinese States War. I mean, this is just so. This is who we are at our most nascent self. This is who we are. We just kill each other, and I mean, and celebrate it. Celebrate it. It blows my mind. But then we do this. He gave his life for what? In the defense of his country. No Vietnam veteran ever protected my First Amendment rights. Don't even do that. Don't bootstrap this. Don't ever tell me that. Cleveland was never at risk of having the marauding VC come over. Stop doing that. We went into Iraq, Afghanistan for oil, and we used 9/11 as a pretext. Don't ever tell me that was necessary. Don't ever tell me that. Pat Tillman, you know that story. Don't. And we're going to do it again. And right now there is a slaughter going on, a massacre of people. It is of epic proportions. And you'll never know that. And don't give me this other bullshit about, well, how did people not know of the Holocaust? Now, I'm not saying this. I'm not going to put anything in the Holocaust, certain words you never use, and I would never do that. I'm not even comparing it. But the point is, it's easy to fool people. I can fool you about anything. Anything. I can get people to actually endorse eating raw meat and say, this is just what we were intended to do. This is the way to raw meat. And that's a free country. I can convince you. And if you think it's cool, you'll go along with it. I can get you, if you want to be cool, to cover your entire body in hideous dermal ink, massacre your dermal real estate with the ugliest, filthiest, most disgusting. I think I told you, Stu Leonard's. I saw a guy the other day. He looked like my age, a little bit older. I don't know. I can't tell. Walking around in short pants, like, regular, short pants, like an older guy. Covered in new tattoos. These were new. He didn't have this his whole life. I'm thinking, oh my God. Doesn't matter. It fascinates me. I can get you to do anything if you think it's cool. I can get you to wear. They had women walking around with their arses hanging out that were years ago. You have said, I can't go out with yoga pants in these hideous steatopigeon gargantuan. But it's not, there's nothing wrong with having a big ass. It's the fact that you think now it's okay to accentuate it a la Kardashian. I can get you to think anything. And then tomorrow, I can turn it around. From clothing to dressing. There is a wonderful show where every time they say, dude, I want to stick my tongue in a fan blade. Why are you saying that? Because, well, that's what people say. Don't say it because everybody's. I can get you to say anything. I can get you to think anything. I can get you to think anything. Think anything you want. Because I know you're not going to spend time, and I know more than anything else, Americans in particular want to be apart. Paul Rodriguez says, it seems that wars define us the most. Yes. Perhaps. That's a very good question. But it's just a few people who decide this. It's just a few people. What do you think this is really about? What was the Vietnam War really about? LBJ said, I am not going to be the first president to lose a war. If you want to look at what's going on in Gaza, look no further than Bibi. And by the way, don't blame him. You can get rid of him. Nothing's going to change. That's going on right there, right now. And you better just pull yourself out, get your head out of the ground and look at this thing and stop using words, whatever words bother you, ethnic cleansing. That's where this is going. It has to. Apartheid is not going to work. The other one's not going to be some two-state. Look at this thing rationally. But you can't because you're told. Because if you keep watching Fox News, you're told, and some protesters are just stupid. Some protesters are just stupid. Doesn't mean that protest is stupid. It means that this particular iteration of it is stupid. I remember one time, remember sometimes in the 60s, there'd be these, and we're going to raise the Pentagon. We're going to elevate the Pentagon in this love-in. And I'm John Lennon, and we're going to have a heron and peace. And okay, fine. I mean, look, protests aren't stupid. That one might be silly. Today is a facade. Today is you to get, not that you would care. When I say you, please don't think I mean you. I mean the country. It's you, us being able to absolve ourselves of guilt and say, well, we do have Memorial Day, right? So it's not like we don't appreciate them. Thank you for your service. Okay, who wants hot dogs? Let's go. That's it. Couldn't care less. The most selfish people you've ever seen in your life without any idea. I promise you, and nobody wants to know the truth. You want to know about Kennedy? No. You want to hear about Bobby Kennedy, by the way, if you don't know what a bullshit artist Bobby Kennedy is now. Did you read about that druggie Shanahan? You got two druggies there who, I mean, what is going on with these people? Did you see this debacle called the Libertarian, that whatever that thing was? What was that? It's ridiculous. It was a complete waste of time, this Libertarian, whatever the hell it was called. It was stupid. Beyond stupid. I think Sean Ono Lennon, good guy, by the way. He got, I think, 1 vote. Stormy Daniels was on. Bobby Kennedy lost to some. He's so through. What a joke. What a joke. Played by, oh my God, by the lobby. He's just I have such utter, absolute contempt. Oh, here's one for you. You know what my new hero is now? Terrence Howard. One of our great listeners said, "Did you see this Terrence Howard thing on Rogan?" I said, "Let me see this." Yeah, that's pretty good. Terrence Howard, they make him out to be crazy, like he's some kind of a nut. I loved it. Why is Terrence Howard a nut? Why? We love to say, "Oh, you're crazy. You're crazy." No, you're crazy. You're crazy. He's crazy. He's crazy. They love to say that. You're crazy. This guy, you're crazy. You're nuts. I've got friends of mine who love nothing but to use the word Zionist as many times as they can, in a sense. This Zionism. You ever know that said Zionist propaganda? Okay, fine. No, it's the Zionist. Okay, fine. Can we talk about this? It's Zion. Okay, I understand it. It's like zzz. It's like one of my favorite Italian words is zanzara, mosquito. Isn't that beautiful? Zanzara. Beautiful. Zanzara. The Z is a Z. Brazilian, Portuguese has a Z sound, like a Z, which is wonderful. That's like Mandarin had that I can't do it. There's this sound. But I think it's the Z's. I know these people, they just love. I said, you don't understand. Americans don't understand what Zionism is. I know it's a Zionism. They love it. You ever watch this? You ever watch some of these shows? They make a good point, but you hear people say, "Oh, you're really getting into this." No, step back a little bit. Be a little bit more. I can't do it. It's genocide. It's Zionism. I mean, okay, I got it. I mean, they may be correct, but they're into it for something else. It's something else. There's a motivation. Remove yourself, denude yourself, absent yourself, disconnect yourself from the passion of the subject and look at things rationally. Don't get into this. Be honest. Be honest. Look at things and just lose all of the labels. Lose the hype. Lose this. I'm telling you. It's the best way to be. Pull yourself up and look at it. You don't want an oncologist who goes, cancer. We got to get that cancer. No. Wait. Stop. Let me talk to a scientist who says, okay, I've seen this before. Oh, okay, this is a neoplasia. Okay, I've got this. I got it. A small cell carcinoma. Okay, I got it. Here's how we treat it. This is what we do. We're going to do this test, this. Thank you. Look at it like that. What was Vietnam about? Vietnam was one of the most wonderful stories ever. The best Vietnam is about this fellow named, oh God. It's about a techno war when they brought McNamara in, and they actually said, we're going to run the war like we're going to run a company. We're going to have forms. I'm going to try to get these clips for you tonight when we do this again. It's some of the best. I want a body count. Give me a body count. They were actually saying body count. Yeah. Well, what if there's no body there, just an arm? Let's say. What do we? Well, count the arm as a body. What if we have two arms? There's two bodies. I'm serious. I'm not trying to be gross here. This is absolutely true. Well, what if we shoot somebody? We don't know who it is. Count them as enemy. If they run, they're enemy. Family, kids. So you can get done. You can say, okay, what were the official count? 100, 200, 200. It's exactly what happened. 200. Got it. That's exactly what happened. Exactly what happened. And then they couldn't get out. And then General Jap, one of my heroes, knows how to fight. I was watching something the other night, a special about Jim Valvano. Jim Valvano from North Carolina. He did something which was he played the game so differently. He knew what they would do. He would deliberately follow the other team, make them do a free throw, know they would miss it, and then they would get the rebound and continue to score. He did something nobody ever thought about this because he knew how people thought. Vietnamese, the Viet Cong, NVA, used to, the Japs said, or Giap, but they called him Jap, had this thing where pull him by the buckle. You get in real close, like this. Freak them out and then into the night. Freak them out. You can't send in artillery. Can't do it. You do that broken arrow thing, which really is the wrong term, but he masterminded war. And by the way, one thing about war, let me tell you one thing about war, which is very interesting. The people who are really good in war sometimes are people who don't necessarily fit into any other walk of life. U.S. Grant his name was Hiram, I believe was a drunk. He's an alcoholic. And the famous line from Lincoln that said, well, if he's an alcoholic, find out what he drinks and send a case to all of my generals. He was magnificent. After McClellan and all, he knew exactly. Sherman went like crazy. Sherman says, you have to make war so horrible that nobody ever wants to do it again. And by the way, that used to be the accelerated retaliation motto of Israel. And it works. By the way, this is all very logical stuff. Logical. How do you win the whatever it is? He was great. General Patton, George Patton. People, they look too much at the movie. The movie doesn't explain really who he was. He was a real F up, as the kids say. He hired Eisenhower. He was independently wealthy. He married a rich woman. He had servants and polo ponies, and he was just a real degenerate. And I think he was a real philanderer too. What he knew was he looked at armor. He looked at basically, the tank. And he said, why are we just setting up perimeters? Let's go. And he went out, he redid this thing. Curtis LeMay, dive bombing. Jimmy Doolittle, Nimitz. Now they weren't, screw ups, but Curtis LeMay, who later on ran in the Green Party as a vice president for George Wallace. Matthew Ridgway, they called him Iron Tits. Brilliant. O.P. Smith, brilliant. Probably the greatest general of all time, George C. Marshall. He is my personal favorite. I think he was the greatest American ever. George Catlin Marshall. He was on the very day, the very day was it not Joint Chiefs of Staff, Hitler invaded Poland or whatever. I mean, it was like the World War I basically commenced on his day one. I mean, just. And they were terrible. Ike was brutal. And then there's the revisionist aspect of history where people don't want to understand that we didn't win World War II. We were instrumental. D-Day was important, but the Russians did it. Had we not even entered it, the Russians would have beaten Hitler. It's a matter of time. Barbarossa and other things too. Nobody wants to say this. What Russia gave up, remember this statistic, Soviet men born in 1921, 80% of them died in World War II. I mean, these numbers are just unbelievable. Now, you want to talk about what is this about? And then afterwards, after we're done with this, and then, Gladio and worrying about this, about Stalin, he wasn't our friend, communism and the Cold War. It is so interesting, but you have to detach yourself. You have to be dispassionate. You have to remove yourself from the storyline, and you can't jump into this and use these common, remember when they had Oliver North? They give you this stuff. Americans are not always right. Americans do not always do everything great. American military is great now, but here's the problem. This is the bottom line. Smedley Butler, as you know, war is a racket. War right now is never about war. Military-industrial complex, Eisenhower, they make a fortune no matter what. People have lined the pot. You will never know where the money went to Ukraine. Zelensky is a billionaire. Make him a billionaire. It doesn't matter. He has his villas in Cyprus and Miami and whatever it is. He played the role perfectly. And they pitted us against each other. And they used social media and everybody else against that as well. Israel's the latest one. But the United States and Great Britain, to an extent, and the UK, and Israel are against the world. That's one we're going to get sucked up into. That's one. That one doesn't work. What's happening in the meantime? Russia and China are just. This is a complete and total reset, my friends. It remains and it requires a detached kind of a chess piece without any kind of passion. You need a dispassionate, cold-blooded review of this. That is all, my friends. A cold-blooded review. And it's not merely about getting along with neighbors. That's not it. Don't say this is about people not getting along. It's a very small aspect of people deciding what is and isn't going to happen. It's not about us not getting along. And if you don't understand who these people are, do you believe the Iranians are evil? Houthis are evil? Do you believe that? Do you think Hezbollah is evil? Nope. If you think that, you'll never understand what's going on. Never. If you don't understand, this is what McNamara said. If you ever want to get to the bottom of this, you got to understand what their point is, what their beef is, what their frame of reference is. And not that they're evil. They're all evil. People think we're evil. We're not. Government, different story. Because there's one thing that motivates us in terms of is money. Money, oil, it's about us. Hegemony, power, our government. Not us, our government. And it's going to be like that no matter what. But with Trump, when he wins re-election, he doesn't have that bloodthirsty sense of lunacy that others have as well. You dig what I'm saying? Does this make sense to you? I hope it does, dear friends. I hope it does. So today, on this important, this critical day, please remember to honor, think about this, to honor what is going on. Honor this these wonderful men and women who gave everything for reasons that basically, in many cases, was unnecessary. It served no purpose. None. None. It served no purpose. None. Now, my friends, I have put for you a piece of, by the way, I don't want to hear any more Tom Brady stories. I don't care about Tom Brady. I don't know why people care about Tom Brady. I don't know what the big deal is. I want you, dear friends, to please follow Mrs. L. Where is this? I just put this up. Hang on a minute. Try this again. Please follow her on her YouTube channel. It is so important and so critical. And I ask you to do it for reasons that make complete and total sense to me. There we go. This one here. Hang on. There we go. This one here. Okay, good. Now follow her. She has some just incredible. And by the way, remember, children completely ignore it altogether. Completely. So, dear friends, as I always say to you in this, Mr. Rodriguez, thank you. Mr. Pierce, thank you. And Ann Dotson, thank you as well for this. Before I forget, I want to leave you with one thing. This says it all. The Biden administration simply does not care. And in the event you're one of these people who've never seen this before, I want you to see something. Pete Booty Giggity was on Face the Nation, and everybody's talking about this. And he was asked specifically, out of the $7 billion or $8 billion appropriated to make these EV charging, you've only got 7 or 8 done. Listen to this smug answer from somebody who just simply doesn't care.
Highway administration says only 7 or 8 charging stations have been produced with a $7.5 billion investment that taxpayers made back in 2021. Why isn't that happening more quickly?
So the president's goal is to have 500,000 chargers up by the end of this decade. Now, in order to do a charger, it's more than just plunking a small device into the ground. There's utility work, and this is also really a new category of federal investment. But we've been working with each of the 50 states. Every one of them is getting formula dollars to do this work, engaging them in the first handful. Again, by 2030, 500,000 chargers.
Laughing.
And the very first handful of chargers are now already being physically built.
This is it in a nutshell. They just don't care. And that's why the Biden administration will be supplanted, ablated, removed, emended, amputated come November. In exactly, my friends, as I said, in 162 days. The question is, it's not going to be Joe because he can't make 6 more months of this. Who's it going to be? Think about it. All right, dear friends, please make sure you remain subscribed. I've got some videos coming up today, which you will love. You will find interesting. Remember, our dear friends, our channel members, you get the videos first. You can peruse and laugh and review them before the rest of the world is able to see them. Have a great and a glorious day, dear friends. And remember, until then, as we always say, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Dead.